Just heading up to the township of Jacobs Well. I've left my dinghy on Bruce's pontoon, and we're just going to head up to Jacobs Well and show you around a bit. It's a good little spot, nice little village, coastal village feel to it. The anchoring here is pretty good. The bottom's great holding, it's good sandy mud, so the anchor really digs in, and it's a good place to hide out of these westerlies. So you can dinghy ashore here pretty easy. You can either use the beach behind me, or there's a pontoon here, a public pontoon you can tie your dinghy up to. So a few facilities for boaties to use. Well, how good's this? Jacobs Well at Castaways restaurant. It's August, and the Eka started last week, and the westerlies are here, and they're bloody cold, I tell you. Nearly froze last night, so I've walked up to Jacobs Well. If you're visiting Jacobs Well, come and visit them at the Castaways restaurant. It's a fantastic little coffee shop. The food's fantastic, the coffee's always hot and tastes good. I'm going to get warm and get back to the boat and get under a blanket, I think. There's always something to do. Seeing it's so cold outside, I'm just going to polish up a bit of the timber on the inside of the boat. Try and do a job every day. I'm just going to polish the davit here today, and I'm using a product called Amazon Stainless Steel Cleaner. It's pretty good. You wipe it on, give it a bit of a polish, and then wipe it off. Goes on and off pretty easy. Always something to do, and it stops the boredom. Well, boy, was it a cold night last night. Absolutely freezing. Best thing I ever put on the boat was the diesel heater. I had it going all night, pumping warm air into the aft cabin, so it was pretty cosy. A bit hard to get out of bed. But I've just left Jacobs Well, having a bit of brekkie on the way up to Steiglitz now and Moreton Shore, so we'll just slip a bit further up. The wind's come off today, so nowhere near as strong as it's been over the last couple of days. So we'll just head up to maybe Carragara or Macleay Island and find somewhere to hold up there for another day, and then maybe out to Peel in Moreton Bay after that. But yeah, this weather is a bit hard to deal with. Thank God for the diesel heater. It was fantastic last night, very cosy. Well, we're just heading up to Rocky Point now. This is about the midway point between the Gold Coast Seaway and Moreton Bay. So we've been pushing a bit of tide getting to here. The tide's running out at the moment, but once we get past the power lines up in front of us, the tide usually turns there, so we'll get a nice bit of a lift off the tide as it heads out into Moreton Bay. And we'll slip up a bit further and find somewhere to anchor. I hope it warms up a bit. The cold weather's nearly killing me. Unbelievable. Just dropped the anchor off Garden Island, in between Garden and Macleay, and we'll probably spend the night here. The wind's still blowing a little bit and it's freezing, but I'm going to go and make myself a hot cup of coffee now. ideal conditions for being over at Peel Island. It's good over there in northerly, doesn't like anything from the south. So we just up anchored, we'll go over and anchor up at Peel for the night and hope that the wind doesn't go back to the south. Horseshoe Bay, Peel Island, it's a great spot, especially in these conditions. If it was the weekend, there'd probably be 300 boats here. But anyway, we'll have a pleasant night here if the weather stays like this. Great. Okay, well, I've just been checking the weather. A bit of southerly here, but it looks like it's going to be light all day. There used to be a leper colony on Peel Island. So the mission for the day is to go ashore and see if we can find it. Looks like the weather's going to be okay. It'll warm up later in the day. Had a pleasant night here last night, but we'll go ashore and see if we can find the leper colony. Well, we found a track and wasn't sure whether to go left or right, but we're going to go left. I think it's up this end of the island. So we'll just follow this track and see where it takes us. One of the things I like about cruising is it keeps you fitter naturally. You don't have to go to gym and force yourself to ride a bike or go on walks, because the only way you can find your way around is on foot. So I think it does keep you a bit fitter. Good for the cardiovascular, and I think getting in and out of dinghies, up and down, in and out of engine rooms, it's a bit like doing yoga as well without even thinking about it. So it's a pretty good lifestyle, I think. Well, before mobile phones, we used to get our communications down a wire, believe it or not. And I think that's one of the old telegraph posts left over from probably 20, 25 years ago, probably more than that, but that would have had wires strung on it for sending messages down the copper wire. Old technology, eh? So we've got to make the decision. Do we keep pushing on or do we stop here? Let's keep going. Well, I suppose this was one of the dormitories that they used to keep people in. Probably a 20 by 10 room, and looks to be either a little bathroom or a kitchen up one end of it. And I guess they tried to keep people segregated because of the disease. So lots of little buildings like this scattered all around the compound here. We'll sneak in. There doesn't seem to be anyone around, so I'm going to sneak in and try and film a bit more for you. We'll see what we can find. Well, it must have been a pretty hard life back in the day if you had leprosy. These little units, I guess, would have housed 1 or 2 people. Pretty basic. They'd be stinking hot in the summer and pretty cold in the winter. I noticed all these old bed frames have got provision on them for mozzie nets, and I think they'd be a real problem here at certain times of the year as well. There's no plaques on any of the buildings, so I can't really give you much of the history. You might be able to Google it up, but it's quite an interesting place, and I'm not encouraging anyone to come in and view it on your own. They do run tours in, so that's probably a good way of doing it. I'm not going to tell you where it is, but yeah, it's quite interesting to see buildings like this that have stood the test of time for probably over 100 years. And obviously they're being renovated now, and I guess if they get groups in here, that'll help pay for the cost of renovations. So yeah, good luck with that, because it's a pretty big job, I'd say, renovating all these old bungalows. Yep, would have been pretty tough times if you've discovered you have had leprosy. I don't know much about leprosy. I know it was a skin-eating disease. Used to eat parts of your body, and with medicine these days, we don't suffer from it in Australia anyway. So I'm glad of that. But the only way they could combat it back in those days was to get them away from the main population and stop the spread of the disease. So that's why this colony was founded out on Peel Island. Pretty tragic place to live, I'd say. Good views though. Okay, so I broke the rules a bit, and I did that just to show you guys what was in there. If you want to find out more about this historic site, it'd pay to get onto the group that does tours, because there's no plaques in there. You don't really know the history of the place, and I think if you're interested in doing something like this, get onto the people that run the tours. Might cost you a bit, but that probably helps upkeep the place and rejuvenate it a bit, I guess, and you'll get a wealth of information off the tour guides, I'd imagine. So yeah, I did bend the rules a little bit. All I left was footprints, all I took was videos. So pretty important to preserve areas of historic significance like this. Must have been tough back in those days. The only thing they had going for them was a great view. Anyhow, I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget, if you do enjoy these videos, please give us a like, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel and ring the bell, and then you'll get notifications every time I load a new video. Thanks for watching, guys.